Hey guys, it's Leia. Today I will be doing my June wrap-up. I read a total of 4 books in the month of June, and 3 out of those 4 books were by Brandon Sanderson because I was playing catch-up with the hashtag Year of Cosme read-along. So I will start with the non-Brandon Sanderson book first, and that is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. I read this book kind of on a whim. There's this Lord of the Rings read-along this summer, and so I randomly decided to join in, and I'm so glad I did because it was just the right push that I needed to finally read this book, because I've been avoiding it for a while because I've been hearing a lot of people say that these books are really hard to get into, but I did not feel that way at all. I thought this book was actually quite addicting. It is a bit slow paced, but I guess for me personally, I am a sucker for world building and for kind of like atmospheric writing, and I just love those kind of books. So I'm not surprised that I absolutely love this book. The world building was just, it was amazing. The details, it wasn't to the point where it was overly detailed, because I get that some books really get super detailed, sometimes to a point where you're like, I don't really want to know that. But this book, I mean, yes, it was very detailed, but it was so good. I enjoyed it. The writing was even a bit, I felt that it was very like whimsical, and I almost felt that I was reading a children's book. I felt like I was reading like a bedtime story or something. I really enjoyed it. I loved like the little songs that were in here and the stories, and I just really enjoyed this book. I was so surprised on how much I loved this book, and I'm glad I read it because I love the movies, but there were some parts in this book that weren't in the movies, and there were there was one character in particular that wasn't in the movie, and I'm kind of like, why? Just why? But other than that, I mean, I freaking loved it, and I really would like to get to the 2 towers this month for July, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But I give this a 5 out of 5 stars, hands down. The next book that I read is actually a short story, and that is The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. This is in the same world as Elantris, and for being a short story, it was really good. The magic system is something I have never seen before. It's called forgery, and it involves like changing an object's makeup based on like its history, and learning the history about the object and changing it in a way that will benefit you. Like, for example, a chair, a really old, rickety, beat up chair. If you know the history of the chair, you can kind of change the fate of the chair so that it was taken care of instead of left alone, and then the chair will transform into something better. That's the best I can do, guys. It's a lot better than what I'm making it out to be, but anyway, this story follows a thief named Shy, and she is a master forger, and they hire her to forge the Emperor's soul to kind of make up a person. And it's a very tiny book. It's very short, but it packs a punch. Like, this short story was just so detailed, and I wasn't expecting so much out of this small little book, and it really surprised me. I loved it, and I kind of wish it was longer, because I feel like this storyline could have been like a 500-page book, seriously, and I kind of wish it was, but I'll take what I can get. So I really enjoyed this. I think you could probably even read it without even reading Elantris, so I mean, if you're interested, give it a shot. I really loved it. So yeah, this is definitely a 5 out of 5 star book for me. The next book that I finished is Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. This is Sanderson's YA sci-fi novel, and it follows a boy named David, and it's set in a world where the people who have superpowers are all villains and they're crazy. And David is trying to get revenge because one of the villains killed his father, and he is trying to kill the most dangerous epic, which is the villains with superpowers. His name is Steelheart, and he is trying to kill Steelheart to avenge his father. And this was a very fun novel to read. It was very, very fast paced. It read like a movie. So it kind of reminded me, not the story at all, but just kind of the pacing of like Legend. It was super fast paced. If you read Legend, you know what I mean. It was kind of like that. But obviously the stories are like completely different. But I really enjoyed this book. It was a bit predictable and the characters weren't that interesting. I wasn't so crazy about the characters in this book, but I do really like where the story is going, so I hope that there's more character development in the later books, but the world seems pretty cool for now. Like I said, it was a bit predictable towards the end. I kind of guessed what was going on maybe like a quarter way through the book. It was maybe like a third of the way, but I still really enjoyed it. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm really excited to read the second book, which is out right now, so I'm hoping that book will be better than this one, but I still really, really liked it. The last book that I read is Therithmatist by Brandon Sanderson. This is Brandon Sanderson's YA fantasy novel, and I really enjoyed this book. This book surprised me. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did because it took me a while to take this book seriously because it's about chalk monsters. Basically, how the magic system works is like you draw on the ground like certain patterns, and you have to use those patterns to destroy chalk monsters. So it kind of took me a while to get into it, to kind of like take it seriously, but yeah, so when I first started reading this book, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm liking this story, but the storytelling was just amazing. The characters were lovable. The story, it was suspenseful. They're trying to solve a murder, and I couldn't help but fall in love. It was so cute. I really loved the main character, Joel. So Joel is not a arithmetist, but he would like to be one, and it goes through his struggles of wanting to be something that he isn't, and he would have been a really great arithmetist, but he doesn't have the magic to become one. And it was just a great adventure story. It was funny, the dialogue was very witty, and I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I ended up really, really loving it, and I really want the second book to come out. I don't know when it's gonna come out yet, but this book was a pleasant surprise, and I really loved it. And of all the books that I read this month, I had a pretty bad book hangover with this book. After I finished that last page, I found myself just wanting to know more. I even reread a few parts of the book because I loved it so much. So yeah, this book, I got pretty addicted to this book. So yes, 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. So that's it for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!